Hello, friendships, and welcome to the We Are Growing podcast. I'm your host, Ava Medina, and I am incredibly excited to welcome you to the show. If you are new, welcome. Come in, take a seat. If you have been a repeat listener, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you, anyone who stops to give this a listen. You are my favorite person, just so you know. You made someone's day, it was mine. Thank you. So, I am excited to just welcome you to this show. This is a safe, cozy community. We are all about self growth here, personal development. It is about you being your best self, the journey to being your best self, but meeting yourself where you are, meeting yourself where you are with no judgment and just getting on the path to growing, whatever that looks like to you. It'll be faster or slower for some people. No judgment either way. This is a safe space. We do not judge. We just grow and approach everything with self compassion, which, of course, was the last mini series theme. So, if you want to know more about self compassion, go ahead and give episodes 4 through 6 a listen. But here, this is episode 8 of the season. And of course, between episode 7 and 9, we are doing authenticity. So it is just about your authentic self and what makes you happy and what motivates you and what feels authentic to you. I am so excited about this topic. I absolutely love this. I feel so passionate about being your authentic self. So I really want to share this. Any good value that this has for you, I want you to take it in. Of course, this is told as always personal essay style. It is just my trials and tribulations brought to you for any value that they might be offering you, any spark, any recognition, any resonation that we can have, just like you resonate with my journey as well, so that you know someone has been there and they've done it and you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it. Change is a process, but it is totally doable. So let's go ahead and get into this episode 8. It is all about understanding and owning your authentic self. I know in episode 7, we talked a lot about what it was to kind of like find to start to tap into what your authentic self would be, to start to tap into the joy, which I feel is the purest form of your authenticity. It's what brings you joy, what brings you purpose and meaning, what alights you, like what really makes your soul sing and what brings you passion. And that I feel is the truest form of what we can get to if we're just for the first time trying to discover what authenticity means to us, what our authentic self looks like and feels like and walks like and talks like and sounds like. So I know that we spoke a lot about that in episode 7. I am hoping that you have taken some of that, or maybe you already know some of that, and you kind of like did some exploring of what brought you joy, of getting curious about yourself, because we're going to build a little bit on that in this episode. So, our first topic is, what does it mean to understand and own your authentic self? And what does it mean to be authentic? So, I really want to touch on this because people will ask, well, how does being authentic differ from just being myself? Like, I'm always myself, I'm always authentic. There is a difference here, though, because it is about what actively get like it's about actively engaging in activities that allow you to express your true self. Because yes, you being yourself, you're always yourself. You can go to a party, you can participate in class, you can participate in friendships and be yourself and be externally pretty amazing, just be who you are. This is a little bit differently. This is about incorporating your values and your sense of joy and purpose and working that into your life so that every moment you are doing something that aligns with yourself, with what you're trying to do, who you're trying to become, the future you're trying to achieve. It is about purposeful integration, if that makes sense. And then it allows you to express your true self because it's a deeper understanding of what truly drives you. Yes, I can be myself and I can be bubbly and excitable and passionate about a topic. That's not, and while that is being your authentic self in a situation, it is not living your authentic self, if that makes sense, because that is a purposeful integration. So, this obviously takes understanding your own values and beliefs and motivations. If you don't understand what you believe or why you believe it or what you value and why you value it or what motivates you, what causes you to do the things that you do, then we encounter murkiness. That is hard to find our authentic self because we don't even know why we do the things that we do. So that's where you want to start and you want to have a good understanding. I have always set this as my motto, like, you can lie to anyone, don't lie to yourself. Be so honest with yourself because they're not going to judge you. Or at least if you've gone through my self compassion series, you've learned how to not judge yourself. You just are. And there's nothing wrong with that. You are the person that you are. There is no need for judgment. And if you do the things that you do because of a certain reason, don't judge yourself for it. Just understand it so that you can rewrite it or you can work with it. You know, if I don't know, if seeing someone else's success motivates you to go out and get that success, that is good to know. Because now, if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling like you're not quite going where you're trying to get, you can watch other people's inspiring stories. Listen to them on YouTube or watch them in a video, read their book, and then you can gain that motivation from them. But if you never knew that and you ran out of motivation, there would be no way for you to kind of counter that. You would be like, well, I don't know how to get out of this stuck point that I'm at. But that's how you do it. It is just by identifying and knowing what moves you and what your values are. So, in that, it's about a sense of self awareness about your own thoughts and feelings and desires. When things come up, don't be like, you're a bad person for thinking that or feeling that. No, why do I feel that? Why do I think that? Get curious about yourself. As we covered last episode, why do you do these things? You are so fascinating, and it is so interesting to know why you do the things that you do. Don't judge, just have appreciation because this is just how you are and who you are. Again, with the caveat that you are not maliciously, intentionally hurting people. And then it is all about being what it means to be authentic is definitely making choices based on what feels right for you. I've covered this a lot on this podcast. Is it never works out when we are doing things for other people with their expectations. It never turns out well for us. It leads to frustration and anger. And you never find that sense of purpose or that sense of meaning or the thing that lights you up. And you might never find it if you live for other people's expectations. In this, of course, is accepting and sharing your flaws and vulnerability is a part of being authentic. You meet people, and that's how you can connect with them. And acknowledging without judgment your flaws is part of being authentic. You are not just your best parts, you are all of your parts. You are the good, you are the bad, you are the neutral, and you will discover that the bad that you think is bad is not bad. And even if it is still a part of you. And you should embrace it, mitigate it, of course, if you feel that it's getting out of control, but it is a part of you. There is no judgment here about any part of you. And I want to touch on that's kind of what it means to be authentic. And then there are signs that you're not living authentically. And I do want you to look out for these for sure, because they're just like little road signs that you're not quite living as authentically as you would like. And it's feeling drained, like despite external success, especially if you're doing it based on someone else's value of what your success should look like. You're going to feel drained constantly. You're not going to feel engaged with your life because there's nothing that is engaging to you. You're just living your life for other people's expectations. And it's also constantly seeking approval before making decisions. If you need to have a committee meeting, like there's multiple voices you need to hear on a decision, it might be because you're not living authentically. There is nothing wrong with getting a opinion, one or two opinions on a point on, on something that's very important that you want to make sure you're like looking at objectively. And of course, who you go to is so important. Make sure there's someone that supports you and your authenticity and your journey, not someone that kind of wants to persuade you to do something else or what they want to do. And that's okay. But if every decision requires a meeting, it might be a sign that you're not living authentically. You should be able to face just yourself with some decisions. Some decisions only take you, only need your opinion. And yeah, so just something to look out. Um, if you find that you seem to be, I'm going to put this in quotation marks, self sabotaging a lot. This one's kind of like a little bit an off sign. But if you seem to be living life and you're like, I can't believe I just did that to myself. I just said this. I just did that. I just self imploded my whole life. Why do I keep doing this? And it seems to be a pattern. Like you seem to keep doing it. You're like, I don't understand what's happening. It might be because you are internally in conflict. So your conscious self is like, this is what I need to be doing. And your subconscious is like, yeah, no, we don't want to be doing this. And so you seem to do things that contradict yourself. You seem to have actions or say things or just blurt things out that have just astronomical consequences on what you're doing. You're like, I don't know why I just did that. It's because you're in conflict or potentially that you are in conflict. You should look internally to yourself like, am I living to my authentic self? If you were, then you wouldn't be self-sabotaging. Or if you are self-sabotaging, it's a sign that you are not living authentically. And a really important mindset shift here is authenticity isn't about finding yourself. It's about allowing yourself to be who you have always been. And you might have quieted that person down to live within society or your home or your workplace, or school might have tempered that down for you. There's a lot of things that may have tampered down who you actually are. And so sometimes you have to discover that person again, but they're always there. They have always been there for you. You are them, they are you. Your authentic self is in you. You just need to give it permission to give yourself permission to be who you want to be, who you have always been. And actually leads us into point number 2, which is how to let go of external validations and fear of judgment, aka how to not give a fuck about other people's opinions because they don't matter. You matter. So I would just touch briefly. I feel like we all know why we care about other people's opinions. But if you don't, or if you're thinking about it, or maybe you're overthinking about it, I just want to touch really quick on why, even though we don't want them to, other people's opinions might matter so much to us that we feel pressured to change who we are, to shrink who we are, to accommodate them. And so, why is that? Why do we care so much about other people's opinions? It's not like, we're not living their life and we're trying to live our life. So, why does it matter what their opinion on our life is? I'm sure you've heard them, but I'll tell you again. From an evolutionary perspective, being accepted by a group was crucial for survival. Not that long ago, like DNA wise, it was advantageous to be well liked by a group, to be included in a group just for survival purposes, predators and such, and even just like pioneering. If you were in a wagon train of multiple people, you had more success reaching your destination. You had more opportunities, you had more chances to survive. Versus if you tried to pioneer by yourself, just you on your lonesome, you were more likely to die, to encounter something catastrophic and not have someone to go for help or help you get out of a situation. So, psychology, evolutionary wise, that kind of makes sense. Like being accepted, being part of a group, being liked, even to the detriment of ourselves, was useful for our survival because it was. And then social conditioning also, we've kind of moved past, like watching out for predators and stuff, but it's still a human a natural, completely natural, so don't beat yourself up about it, completely natural human instinct to want to be accepted, to want to belong within a social group, to seek connection and validation. We want to make sure that, what we're doing is accepted by others and it's okay. And, it wants us to maintain positive relationships with others and to feel like we fit in. And we can still do that. Here's the mind-blowing part. You are not, they do not live in opposite realms of the world. Authenticity and self acceptance and a supportive community and a group of people you can belong to and being liked, those go together. They are not separate, they are not mutually exclusive. You are just in the wrong group. If your community is forcing you to shrink yourself, to not be your authentic self, you're in the wrong group. You need to leave. You need to leave that group and go to a group that supports your authentic self. I promise you, they are out there. They're out there and they are waiting for you. So why are you trying to accommodate someone, a group that isn't allowing you to be who you fully are when you could leave and find a group that does accept who you fully are? Just a thought. And I want you to reframe your internal self when this fear of judgment comes up. Because oftentimes, at least for me, I find this when I am uncertain about a behavior I'm doing. Maybe it's the way that I'm dressing. Let's say I'm going to a very casual workplace, but I'm getting really dressy because that's just how I feel good. That's what makes me feel good, is getting dressed up, feeling good in my clothes, putting on jewelry, feeling good in that, having makeup on. Maybe that's just what makes me happy, what brings me joy, what allows me to enter the world as my authentic self. And you think to yourself, okay, well, I work in a really casual workplace. What if they're judging me about that? And then you start to do this thing where you make up fake personas of people. You make mean personas of people in your head to then say mean things to yourself. It's like your critic is role playing with you. Like your inner critic is like, I'm going to pretend to be this person now, and then I'm going to tell you mean things about yourself, and you're going to believe it because you're going to think that's what that person is actually thinking. Do you know how crazy that sounds? Like, I know when I started doing that, I was like, did I just make a mean persona of this person in my head to then say mean things to myself? Why? Why did I do that? That's not what they're thinking. They haven't said that to me. And even if they had said that to me, even if they had come out of their face and said that to me, here's my very next question. Because this is the very next thing that I realized. I was like, okay, so what if they are thinking that? Or what if they even have said that to you in your face? Are you going to shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable? Are you going to purposely cut off parts of yourself as if they were a limb? That's how I need you to think about this. Because being your authentic self is being who you were fully are. This is who you are. Just because it's not like a physical thing, just because it's not like a limb on your body, doesn't mean it's not a part of you that you cannot cut off. So are you going to shrink yourself? Are you willing to metaphorically cut off your arm to make someone else comfortable? Or are you going to tell that person that if they have a problem with the way that you dress, they can look elsewhere? Okay? Because no one is telling them that they have to look over here. No one is telling them that they have to interact with you, that they have to be in the room with you when you're talking. If they don't like a part about you, that's a them problem. If they try to make that a you problem, you redirect that and you make it a them problem. It's like, hey, listen, I'm not being inappropriate for the workplace. All of my clothes are within dress code. The way that I'm speaking is within the code, within our policy. I don't think that that's my problem. I think that's a you problem. So you need to not make it a my problem. Because are you really going to do that? Are you going to sacrifice yourself for someone else, someone you don't even, this isn't like a loved one. This isn't like giving, a loved one a kidney. Okay? This is not a child. This is not a parent. This is not someone that you owe anything to. And then I also would say that depending on the favor, depending on what they are wanting, it's easier for me to give you a kidney than to stop being who I am. And in that point, of course, we need to think about protecting ourselves to the just protecting ourselves and letting go of relationships, even if they are loved ones, even if they are parental figures that are just no longer serving us. But back to the actual question here is, if some random stranger is like, yeah, I don't like the way you look, or a coworker, even a new partner is like, yeah, no, these things need to change. It's like, no, no, sorry. What happened is that you made your problem my problem, but it's not my problem. It's yours. So you need to fix that. And so I need you to challenge those thoughts. When your inner critic wants to role play with you, be like, no, absolutely not, because I'm not changing myself to accommodate someone else. And then also realize that even if someone came out of their face about it, everybody will have an opinion. You cannot please everyone. So why not please the only person that matters? Spoiler, it's you. You matter. You're the only person whose opinion matters in anything. Obviously, some exceptions, like if you're moving forward in a relationship. But this is about your authentic self. This is not about like buying a house. This is your authentic self. And within your authentic self, the only person's opinion who should matter about how you present yourself to the world is your opinion, no one else's. Also, if someone's like, hey girl, this is just some like useful advice. This is just me trying to be like super nice and just offer you some good advice that I think you should take in. Before you take any advice from anyone, think to yourself, do they have the life that I want? Because if they are not living the life that you want, you should not be taking advice from that person. You know, if they're stuck in a dead end job with a shitty relationship and they haven't changed in the last 10 years, and they're saying, hey, you should really like cool it on like the way that you are presenting yourself to the world, think to yourself, like, okay, this is really good advice. If I also want to be in a dead end job, in a shitty relationship, in the exact same place that I am right now in 10 years, then yeah, it's great advice. But if I want to move forward with my life, if I want to be a millionaire, if I want to get where I'm going and I want my dream house, my dream vacation, my dream life, if I want to achieve the goals I want to achieve, you're not the advice I should be listening to at all, because you haven't achieved any of the things that I want to get. So, hi, thanks so much. Take your unsolicited advice, opinion, recommendation, what have you, and put it in a jar labeled not my business. Mind your business. Okay. How about you take your own advice, because you are living the life you want to be living? Like, don't offer it over here. And also, my best guiding question for like, what should I do, is what will bring you the most joy? Sometimes certain choices will be what will bring less suffering. Sometimes it's just the best of the two bad options, and that's okay. But when at all possible, if you're faced with some decisions, just ask yourself, what would make me the happiest? What would bring me the most joy and align with me in my future of these two decisions that I am making right now? What would I do if I wasn't afraid? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of people's judgment? If I wasn't afraid of financial security? If I wasn't afraid of things? What would I do? And in that moment of complete freedom, you realize what your dream is. And then, of course, you do pursue those within the context of life and having to get certain things. But then you have this image, you have this goal. And that's what it is. That's all we're trying to do. And we're just trying to live free with that. So stop explaining yourself. Stop explaining your actions to people who don't deserve an explanation. Because if they don't get it the first time, they're just not going to get it. So stop offering them. Stop explaining to people. Okay? No, I'm sure we've all seen this on the internet, and everyone, no is a full sentence. It's a full goddamn stop. No, no, I can't do this. No, I can't stop being me. No, I can't help you with this. No, no. Let go. Let go of relationships that drain your energy. Let go of them. Okay. People who are constantly criticizing everything you're doing or everything you're trying to do or everything you're trying to be, these are not people you need in your life. And they're emotional vampires. Like, they are energy vampires. You need to get them out of your life. And I understand if you're like, well, I live with them. That's okay. We're just going to limit interactions. We're going to be sociable. We're going to be polite. We're going to be civil. That is the extent. We're not engaging with these people. We're not telling these people our dreams and hopes and fears. We're not telling them anything. We're being civil. Hi, how are you? That's it. We're done. We're limiting interactions with these people. And then you're going to focus on your self worth. Whenever you're encountered with this, remind yourself of everything that is unique about you, about how fascinating you are, about all the qualities you have, all the strengths, all the things you have gone through. And go, regardless of people's opinion, I'm a badass. I've gone through some shit and I've come out this other side still fucking doing it. So I don't need other people's opinions up in my space because I am amazing and I know that I am. And if people don't like it, that's a sign to move on from them. That is their biggest sign to you that you need to go, that they need to go. And this will actually take us into step 3. And that's going to be just embodying your authenticity daily. What is it to go around in life being your authentic self daily? And it's not going to be 24/7. Learning progression, it's everything is a process. Some days might be full authenticity, some days might be 50%, some days might be 30%. As long as we're bringing any percent of ourselves, it will grow. We are just going to build on it. It is less about the times that we fall off. It is actually none of it is about any of the times that we fall off. It's everything. Everything is about every time we stand back up and do it again. So it doesn't matter how many times you fall off the wagon or you didn't embody your authentic self. It is none of that matters. The only thing that counts is every time you showed up, is every time you came there, you showed up for yourself. It's every time you bounced back. That's the only thing that matters. And that's everything that you can build on. So we're going to take small aligned actions every day. And that's going to be just to do one thing. We're going to start so easy, so simple, not a lot. We're not trying to overwhelm ourselves. Just do one thing a day that aligns with your true self. And I know that that feels really abstract and you're like, well, I don't know what that is. It can be anything. Any answer you come up with is correct. Whether it's wearing what you love, even if you work at a casual workplace and you're like, well, dressing up is what makes me happy. It's what makes me feel aligned with myself. Then girl, do it. Do it twice and put on the fancy earrings with the fancy makeup. Like go. If that's what makes you happy, if that's what brings you joy, then do it. Wear what you love or speak your truth in a situation where someone asks for your quote honest opinion and you're like, well, you know what? You asked, I'm going to give it to you. And just speak your truth. Just whether that is telling someone that you don't really have time for their bullshit today. Like, hey, sorry, you vented to me yesterday about this and I have things to do. I don't have time for this. That's your truth. Instead of like people pleasing that person and spending and wasting having them waste your time or pursuing your passion. Because you think to yourself, man, I really want to do something that aligns with me today. I want to do something that makes me happy. You know, I want to go see a movie. I want to go eat out. I want to work on my project. I want to take a pottery class. I want to go to yoga. Whatever it looks like to you, that is the answer. Go out, go do it. Do one small thing a day that just aligns with yourself. And in that, we will build the steps to being our authentic self all the time. It doesn't start out all the time. And some people are going to be closer to authentic self than others. It just depends on what your life has kind of like gone through, you know? Every answer is correct. You are showing up, you're doing the work, you're putting it in. Also, confidence comes from action. I know that this sounds kind of weird, but confidence comes from action. You did the thing. You did the thing scared. You did the thing frightened, terrified. You did it crying. You did it screaming. You did it. And now the next time you go to do it, you have confidence in yourself because you're like, man, I did this when I wasn't feeling it at all. I did this at like 10%. Hell yeah, I can get up today and I can give it 50. I can give it 100. I can give it 110%. You did the action. You did it regardless of how you felt. And now you can have confidence in yourself that when you are going to do it again, you can do it because you've done the hard thing. You did it. You did it when you didn't want to. So that means when you do, you're going to kill it. That confidence comes from taking the action, from knowing that you will follow through on yourself. So do the thing regardless of how you feel. The confidence will come. Also, embody that confidence. Wear that confidence like a second skin until it just like melts in, like lotion, you know? Put it on. Put on that confidence until it just melts into your skin. Until now it's a part of you. Embrace your uniqueness. I know I covered this in the last episode. You are endlessly fascinating. You are such a diverse, unique individual. Your thoughts, your opinions, your take on things, your vision of reality, your mindset, everything about you is interesting and unique and diverse and amazing. So I need you to embrace that. I need you to embrace your uniqueness and go, I need to embody this because there's no one in the world that has this, that has what I have, that has my uniqueness, that has my perspective, that has lived my life in my shoes with my mindset and my opinions. There's no one else like me in the world. So I have to keep showing up. I'm sorry. There's no other way I can be because no one else is going to be me. So if I'm not me, then the world is missing. The world is lacking me. And this means accepting your strengths, okay? Acknowledging your strengths. To we love to focus on all the things we're not doing. I'm going to need you to accept and acknowledge your strengths. Yes, you have them. Embody them. Recognize them. Go through some of the journaling prompts that we did in the last episode. Write down your strengths. You have them. And at the same time, acknowledge your weaknesses without judgment. Don't be someone you're not. Be entirely you. There is no one else like you, and the world is lacking for you not being your authentic self. I promise you that. So acknowledge that you have strengths and then recognize your weaknesses without judgment. Engage in something, express yourself creatively every day. Engage in activities that allow you to express your true self, and this can be as simple as just trying out a new instrument, going to a painting class, doing yoga, going to work out, whatever. Engage in something that just lets you be you and then lets you just be in a safe space where there are no judgments or unsolicited opinions. Don't bring people who you know will have judgments or unsolicited opinions. In fact, I would do this entirely on your own. It is a part of just sitting with yourself and loving yourself and being with yourself, loving your own company. Because you're the only person that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. So learn to love yourself and give yourself permission to evolve. Follow me on this one. You're allowed to change your mind. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to shift paths, and you are allowed to redefine what success looks for you. If you were someone that was like, I'm never going to have kids, and now you're like, wow, I think that would be something that I would really love to do, you're allowed to change your mind. If you're like, you were someone that I'm never playing sports, I'm never writing a book, I'm never doing this thing. And now suddenly you're like, well, actually, I feel like this is where my path is taking me. And I think I have a really good opportunity for it. Don't let that old version of you hold you back. Even if you just said it yesterday and today you are changing your mind, don't let someone make you feel bad about that. You are allowed to change your mind. That is the entirety of the purpose of the human experience, is to experience it, to just be. So how are you not going to allow yourself to grow? That's part of the human experience. We're always growing. We're always evolving. We're always turning into new people and trying new experiences. So don't make yourself feel bad that you're doing exactly what you were meant to do, which is to evolve, to grow, to become the person you've always wanted to be. It is okay to change your mind. It is okay to have said something yesterday and have a different opinion about it today. Absolutely okay. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about that. If you have to shift paths, if you're in the middle of a degree and it's not working out and you need to go, or you're in the middle of a career and you're like, wow, I hate this. I need to go somewhere else. I need to pivot. Don't let people make you feel bad. Oh, that's a step back. I can't believe you did this. You wasted all your time. You're going to fail. First of all, cut those people out of your life. They're not helpful at all. But also, don't let them make you feel bad. This is part of the experience. This is part of growing as a human. There is nothing wrong with that. In that same space, authenticity is not a destination, it's a practice. It is an endless evolution of self. It is an endless embodiment of your best self, of growing to your best self. And here's the thing, my best self always felt very abstract. And it was only when I started becoming that person, moving towards that person, that it became clear, that it became more clear what I was or what I was doing and how I was doing it. My authentic self became, my future self became more clear as I started pursuing that person. Okay. And you're going to want to surround yourself with the right people when you do this. So I've given you a lot of examples of what people to cut out of your life. If they're saying this, if they're doing this, if they're not okay with your authentic self, if they are trying to shrink you down, if they're offering unsolicited opinions, if they are making you feel bad, all of these people need to go. Or you need to limit interactions with them. Very minimal. Again, we're going to be civil, but we are not engaging with these people. We are not telling them anything about ourselves or what we're doing or what we're pursuing, because we know that they're just going to plant tiny, itty bitty little seeds of doubt. And I don't want it. You don't want it. Nobody wants it. They need to go shove their opinion in the garbage, because that's where it's going. So yeah, it's letting go. It's seeking out communities of the right people. Your people are out there, your group, your community that is going to be supportive and encouraging of your growth, that is going to love you as you are. They are out there and they are missing you while you're here pretending to be someone you're not, trying to please people who are never going to be happy, who don't care about you being your authentic self. While you're here being miserable, your people who love you, who want you to grow, who want to support you, who want to see the best of you, who want to see you be you out in the world, they're waiting for you. They miss you. They are lacking something in their life they didn't even know was missing until you can find them. So let go. Let go of these things and these people and these relationships and these situations that are not working for you, and go out and find the people who are missing you already, who haven't even met you and they are already missing you. Go out and find your own people. Let go of those relationships that make you feel small or inauthentic or make you feel just like you have to shrink yourself. And I want you to know that authenticity will positively influence your relationships. Because why do you want someone who loves you based on a fake version of yourself? They don't love you for you. So what is the point of that love? What meaning does it hold if they love a figment of their imagination, of who you pretend to be? Nothing. It's nothing. It means nothing. It doesn't mean that they love you at all, because as soon as you start to be yourself, they will have conditions. They will have opinions. They will have negative reactions. So the love that you feel right now for someone who isn't even you, it's meaningless. At least that's how I've always thought about it. If someone doesn't love me for who I authentically am, then it isn't worth anything, their love. You know, like if you love a version of me that doesn't exist, that's just only be in your head and in my attempt to please you, like no, it doesn't mean anything to me. Your love, it's nothing. Because you don't love me. And so, yeah, it's worth nothing. But to the right people, it is everything. When you have someone who loves you for who you authentically are and every facet of that, that love is everything. It is all inclusive. It is like an eclipse. It is everything. You can bathe in that love. You can grow in that love. You can be you. You can relax. You can have peace in that kind of love, in that love of your authentic self. It also enhances your well being, like, being able to authentically embody yourself. is so relaxing. It's a weight off your shoulders. It is less internal conflict. It is less tense. It is everything to be able to do that. So every time you have a choice, choose you because it's a win-win. It's a win for you and it's a win for the right people who you need to find, who want to be around you. All right, folks. That is going to be the end of our episode number 8. I had so much fun with this episode. Authentic self is such a topic that I am passionate about. I can speak on it for days. So I am going to just give you a recap and some good takeaways for this. So I'm going to recap real quick. Our step 1 is just identifying what it is to be our authentic self. It's understanding and owning our authentic self. Step 2 is letting go of those external validation and fear of judgment, aka how to tell people to fuck off with their opinions. And then step 3, it is about embodying your authenticity daily. Just one small thing. Just do one small thing for yourself. And start noticing if people are not receptive to who you want to be, because we need to limit interactions with those people. So define what authenticity means to you and stop seeking from validation. Stop seeking validation from people who do not matter. Take actions that align with your true self, that bring you joy. And set boundaries. Protect your energy. Own your life. This is your life. No one else, as many opinions as other people have on your life, they're not living your life. You're living it. You need to be happy. You're the only person that needs to be happy with the life that you're living. So, what's one way that you're going to step into your authentic self today? Leave a comment or message me. I am so excited. I'm so excited to hear, what is that one thing that you're going to do today or tomorrow or this week that is going to be in your authentic self. All right, guys, that is it for the episode. Episode 8 of season 1. It is so wild. We are getting closer and closer to that, episode 12. All right. So for my audio listeners only, I will see you Monday. For my video listeners, I will see you Friday. And if you follow me on Medium for my articles, then you will see me Tuesday through Thursday. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to have you back next week. And until then, know that we are growing. We will stumble. We will get back up again. We will be true to ourselves. We will find joy. We are going to be authentic because there's no one else to be. You have a great week. Go out there and slay it. I know that you will. You have a good one, guys. Bye.